Hold on. I'm gonna put you on the snap out here. I look out here. I'm doing big things out here. Watch what you see, V. I'm telling you. Yo, what's going on? It's Adebayo Akinfenwa, and you're about to hear my chat with Spoon.
From my point of view, I'm talking
Yeah,
with you today because obviously we respect your achievements as an athlete. So we would
yeah, yeah.
just want to talk about how you find focus, how you find discipline, and how you've been able to maintain it in your career.
The funny thing is, and it's cliche, but school sets you up for everything you want to do. School is education, but it is your life education. So it sets you up for discipline, sets you up for work, because basically it is a routine. Achieving anything and accomplishing a goal is a repetition. It is getting into a routine. And that's what training is. But that all started from school, getting in on time, doing the work while you're at school, and then basically maintaining and progression. And basically, it is school, but you only clock that as you get older. When you're younger, you can't wait to get out of school. So I'll go back to whenever I'm speaking to the youngsters, it's like, look, you know what? Don't sleep on school, because basically the kind of the harder you work at school, the easier it is to make that transition from school to whatever it is you want to do.
So how do you deal with like the mundane bits? Like you said, it's about a routine, it's about repetition. How do you deal with that when it starts to get monotonous?
There's a saying in it. It's find something you love and then you'll never work a day again in your life. There's that saying. Me, that saying only works to a point, because even when you're doing something you love, it does. When it gets to the mundane, that repetition stage, it then becomes work. But it's that mindset to know that, look, you know what? Not everything's a honeymoon. Not everything's easy. You know what I'm saying? That is the bottom line. Is, and once you realize that, it's them days where you get up and it's snowing. It's them days on a Tuesday night when you're training in the rain and you're not playing at the end of the week and you're thinking, oh, I can't believe I'm doing this again. The days when you're hurting, or, oh, you know what, the man them are going out on a Friday, but I got a game on a Saturday. You're ill, but you still have to go in. Them are the days where in yourself, it's like, look, you know what? I've got to stay focused. I've got to stay disciplined. And that's basically what it is. You know what I'm saying? Every day can't be, I kind of call it candy day, sweets days, where it's easy going. So I think that's something that you've got, that's something that's inside you. That's not something that anybody can implement for yourself. It's a thing where, you know what, you take the rough with the smooth. And so that's how I personally get through that repetitive stage.
Moving on from that, what have been some of the highlights of your career so far, would you say?
Career wise, the highest I've played is League One football. So of course you set goals, as you know, as you go into anything. And I wanted to play in the Premiership. There's no two ways about it. So on a career side of it, I didn't really reach the heights I wanted to reach. But again, I'm a League Two footballer. I think over my social medias, I'm over a million and a half people following me. My highlights is, I rub shoulders, or I rub elbows with the elite. Just last week I was with Thierry Henry. I was with Colin Salmon, who's for me one of the best English actors around to date. And these are all people I'm having conversations, tiny temper, having conversations, and them knowing my achievements and acknowledging my achievements. So for me, highlights, going to LA, meeting Gerard, sitting down, eating with Gerard, playing against Liverpool. These are highlights in my career, which, I can only look and say, I'm proud of what I've achieved.
One of the things I noticed is how open and generous you are. Like been out and see, we went trampolining one time, and I saw like obviously a lot of young people queuing up to talk to you, and you took the time to speak to every single one of them, sign something. Like, what inspires you to connect with people in that way?
You know what? I'm honored. I'm telling you, I'm honored when somebody asks for a picture. I'm honored, so I'll always take the time. Bottom line is, there's things in life and people in life that I look up to and aspire to. And I would like to think if I ever met them and asked them for a picture, they would do the same. So when I'm in the same position, who am I to then not try and take the time? I'm humbled for the amount of attention I get, and for me taking a picture, the elation it gives the other person is humbling. So, like I keep saying for myself, I'm blessed, and I'd say it don't take a minute. There's times where it's taken an hour for me to get through taking pictures, but for me, it's an hour of my day, which then for the people I'm taking pictures with or signing with, it then lasts much longer than an hour. I think anybody that's in a position where people look up to them, I think they must take it upon themselves to try and give something positive back, or try and take the time to. It don't take longer than a second to take a picture or sign something. So there'll never be the day. And I keep telling my brothers, you know my brothers, the day I get too big-headed to not take a picture, I give them permission to slap me in the back of my head, because, for me, it's a blessing upon itself for the position I'm in.
What other frustrations do you find that you come across as a professional athlete, and what kind of things you do to overcome them?
You know what? I've been in the game for like 15 years. So there's not much now that, I haven't gone through in myself, in my career. Like earlier on, the abuse or the chance or people focusing on what they want to focus on used to frustrate me. And I remember somebody say that, to use the notion of there's somebody always worse off than you, is they didn't really like that notion. But for me, it works. It works for being like, you know what? To concentrate on negative, it takes a lot out of you. So my mindset is, look, it's cool. You can't please everybody. As you know, it's going to be daytime tomorrow. By the grace of God, you get to see it. Is, as you know, you can't please everybody in this world. So I've been able to learn to be like, look, it's okay to not be able to get on with everybody and please everybody. So as long as I'm comfortable in my lane, that's how I deal with most frustrations or most negative situations that come my way.
What's next for you going forward that we should maybe look out for? So we know you're doing stuff outside the game as well.
Yeah, we've got the clothing line, that Beast Mode On, which is the clothing line, which is doing very well. We've got games and apps. We've got the Football Academy starting end of this season, 2017. We've also got the BMO mentoring scheme, which we're focusing on. I wouldn't just say inner city schools, but I was born and raised in it, and I went to an inner city school and was in an inner city area. And I, came across a lot of people saying, look, I was too big to play football, or because I came from a certain area, a perception always came with me. So I feel like, of course, our kids are the future. So the mentoring scheme is that, to believe in yourself, don't let people put you in a box. So I'm very passionate about that. So that's the next thing that's coming on. That's the next path we're going in the BMO mentoring school. I've got an autobiography which is coming out as well, which it's my most exciting project to date.
Before we finish up, I just wanted to ask you about the whole "you're too big to play football" thing, and how you've actually flipped that and turned it to your advantage. Like, what kind of things did you have to deal with?
Embrace, look, the first, and I'll keep saying this to people, embrace yourself. Embrace yourself. And I knew, and like I said, I wouldn't go on and try and say like, oh, I had this plan from a kid and I set out to be different. Nah, not at all. I set out to play football. And I'm still a footballer first and foremost. But what I did find growing up was you can't help what people think. People naturally, and it's society, it's human nature. They naturally want to do stuff that works in their own mind, which it just fits. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh boy, you're from this end, so you're a certain way, or you're big, so you can't play football, you're too short, you can't play basketball, or it's just how that for them, in their mindset, it makes it easier for their mindset to work. And what I learned as I got older was, you know what? I am happy in my own skin. I am happy. And I was determined. I was like, look, whatever you want to feel, I am a footballer. I am going to be a footballer. So that whole too big to play football, I'm like, that's cool. If that's what you think, I'm going to play ball. And then I was happy in my own skin. I was happy in my own lane. So whenever they said that, I was like, cool. You know what? I'm big, but I can play football. So it was for me, it was a driving mechanism. So, you know, I keep saying, you said I'm too big to play football, but over 100 goals later, I guess I can't be too big to play football, you know? So for me, it was, look, be happy in your own skin because, like I said, I come back to, you can't please everybody in this world. So don't try, you know, and I'm not saying that I didn't need help. I did. I've got a loving family that's always had my back from the get-go. So we all need help. We all need handouts sometime, but after all said and done, I'm happy in my own skin. I've got self-belief. The faith is strong within me, and that's all that stuff you can control. And then go tackle the world. But then also know that, look, it's cool. Not everybody's gonna be down with me. Not everybody's gonna get my story. Not everybody's gonna get my mindset, and I'm okay with that. So that was the whole reason why, for me, I was able to flip it on its head. And now I am who I am, and I do what I do.
Nice, man. I think
You know
that's
what I mean?
I think that's a great way to wrap up our chat today, man. Appreciate that.
Nah, brother, it's a proper blessing, brother. Because, you know, in today's society, it's all what we can't do. You know, that's just what you see in it. It's what we can't do, what we can't do. So for me, it's like, nah, 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 nah. It is what you can do. What's the point of focusing on your negatives? You know, let's focus on the positives. So that's what, for me, nah, man, this is big stuff. I like it, man. I like it.
Respect, man.
You know what I mean? People watch what you see with them big things out here. Skype calls.
Nice.